Well, fantastic evening, Broncos country. Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup, brought to you by the Rocky Mountain Sports Network and sponsored by the amazing Morgan Trinkets. We'll talk about those guys later. I'm your host, Keith Brugman, man. I appreciate everyone jumping in here on a Tuesday evening for, man, the OG show, man. It's great to be in here on an off season, man. It's great to be in here with great friends like I have right now, man. I might as well kick it right off. I'm going to kick it off to the Rocket Man to, well, looks like to my left, your right. I don't know. Trevor Salzman, how we doing, sir?
Oh, doing great, Keith. I'm excited to be here and talk a little bit of Broncos. I missed Friday's show, but I just want to give a quick shout out to Scoops for filling in for me. Did a fantastic job. You guys had a fantastic podcast with Jody. It was great to see Jody back and ready to get rocking and rolling here on a great Tuesday night.
Yeah, man. Rocking and rolling with that brand new microphone, man. Loving it. Sounding super good, man. Sounding super good. Everyone will be so happy. Even the YouTube commenters will be happy, and, we can take down the negative comments maybe. You can go erase that, whoever you were, man. We got it all sorted out, man. We got it sorted out all the way over on the East Coast, man. Kenny Kirkpatrick, man. Thank you so much for joining the Denver Bronco Roundup. Seems like he's here all the time so much that, well, he's got the nickname. We know it. We love it. He's the stepfather. Welcome in, Kenny.
Oh, guys, thank you for having me. And while we're giving shout-outs, I got to give a double shout-out to Trevor. Filling in for you last week, Keith. They invited me on. I felt like I thought I was going to have to maybe help Trevor a little bit with some comments, this and that. He not only held down the fort, he ran it. So hats off to Trevor. And then for filling in for me, because I was enjoying myself at the Jersey Shore, filling in for me and being Scoops' guest last night on Sunday night on What's the Scoop. So Trevor, thank you. And 2 shout outs for you, my friend.
Appreciate it, Kenny.
Double shout outs all the way around, man. Lots of love. And I'm going to get to the love in the posse, man, because you guys are blowing it up already, guys. But first, got to give it up to the one, the only, the Mile High Dutchie. Dutchie, can you give us one of those infamous, good evenings in a different language to everyone, maybe?
What's up? Oh, no, dat is normal. Goedenavond iedereen. Het is weer geweldig om hier te zijn met de Denver Bronco Roundup. En ik zie er naar uit om een heerlijke avond te hebben.
I appreciate it, man. Welcoming everybody in somehow. You want to give us the quick translation on that? I don't know if there is one. It's probably like, hello.
No, there's quite a bit of a story behind it, but in short, it was, I'm looking forward to have a great evening, and thank you all for being here, and something like that.
There you go. The rough translation. Nothing ever comes straight across. Kind of like the plans that the Broncos had maybe in the offseason, and maybe what our expectations were for them, and how this team kind of came together. We're going to get to all of that here in just a little bit, man, but I got to hit the posse, man. This chat board is just absolutely blowing up. Michael Ronquillo coming in first and foremost over on Facebook saying, good evening, Keith, Albert, Trevor, and Kenny. Orange and blue hearts clapping it up, K&K style, man. We appreciate you so much. Clayton, the regular man, always coming in here, always supporting, saying, Hey guys. Hey to you, Clayton. I was looking for the like, share, subscribe, and everything that he usually says as well. Right after it kind of threw me off. Oh, there it is. Smash that like button and share, guys. Appreciate it so much, Clayton. Got Miss Pearl coming in and saying, hi all, happy Tuesday. It's a fantastic Tuesday, Pearl. Appreciate you jumping in here. Of course, for those who don't know, inside information, Morgan Trinkets, Pearl Heater, one and the same, kind of like Batman and or not, it's Batman, Superman, and Clark Kent. One and the same. So we'll talk about those guys here in just a little bit over at Morgan Trinkets. Roy Osborne saying, "Hey there, guys! Happy Tuesday! Looking forward to the show." And Clayton coming in here, all excited. Already talking about players. First one to just kind of break it out in this saying, Bo Nix, baby. A lot of players to be excited about, I think, this off season and heading into next season. Ernie Mays saying, hello, Keith, Trevor, and others, and hello to you, Mr. Ernie Mays. Let's see if there's anybody else. Maybe this guy right here. Anybody know the other half of the K&K Sports Show? I do. It's Mr. Kurt Valente saying, boys, my present from Jenny Hoops arrived yesterday, a blue number 10 Bo Nix jersey. Thank you, Hoops, and let's go.
Yep.
Guys,
congratulations to Kurt. He got a promotion, so that was his present. He got a promotion.
Oh, nice. I wasn't sure, but congratulations to you, Kurt.
Not his birthday. His birthday is passed in the wintertime, so don't want anybody his birthday. No. Well-deserved promotion and a well-deserved jersey there, Mr. Valenti. Let's hope he pans out for you.
There is a promotion he hasn't taken. That's the promotion to show up on the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. I'm always looking forward to that as well. So, Ernie May is coming in and saying, hello, Mile High Dutchie. I think Ernie might be translated your words, and it was saying good evening to you a little bit just on his own. So there you go, buddy. Mark Calderio. Hello, guys. What's up? Let's go Rangers. Because guess what?
Big follower, K&K. What's up, Mark? New York over here, big Ranger fan. So let's go Rangers.
Absolutely. We'll give a little let's go Rangers in here, but we're going to switch it right over to the Broncos here in just a little bit. And Patrick Wiltsey coming in here and saying, aloha, boys, with the coffee. I don't have the coffee tonight. It's kind of amazing. Imagine that. No coffee in Keith's hand tonight. Amazing. But that being said, Lion Coffee, no better, guys. Check out Lion Coffee if you're into the caffeinated needs. Lion Coffee is the way to go, and check those guys out at lioncoffee.com. Clayton's given our good friend, the Rocket Man, a little bit of love, saying, great job, my friend. And this is one that we wanted to hit right off the bat. And maybe I'll let it hit the guest first. Wide receiver Cortland Sutton reportedly came out, according to reports by Jeremy Fowler. Give hats off to Jeremy Fowler. Maybe has the inside scoop on this. And he says wide receiver Cortland Sutton wants $2 to $3 million pay raise. Right now, that would put him in about the $18 million range, if I remember correctly.
16 million. She has a base salary of $13 million right now, 13 to 13 and a half. So just like $16 million in base salary. As far as I know, that's what the report kind of looked like. That's what it was going for. Yeah.
Okay. Appreciate that. Appreciate the correction. What are your thoughts, man? Outside perspective, Mr. Kenny Kirkpatrick, I've been talking enough. I'm going to go ahead and get a little sip off to the side. What are your thoughts on $15 to $16 million a year Cortland Sutton, who's currently holding out, I guess, kind of holding out. He wants a contract. He's not showing up to non-mandatory off-season activities.
I think you got the right person for outside perspective tonight, because for those who don't know, I'm a New York Giants fan, but Kurt, Bronco fans, the posse all knows me, so I do compare a lot of Giants to the Broncos. And one, I think it's selfish. You're on a team that's building through the youth. So you know what? Now, fellas, I'm looking to trade him. And a trade partner that maybe in realistic terms here is the New York Giants. Because we have somebody doing the same exact thing Cortland Sutton's doing that's going to be a lot cheaper for the Broncos if we decided to do a trade and maybe flip picks. and that's Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton's holding out, not showing up for OTAs for the Giants, and he's not happy. So you know what? You get 2 unhappy wide receivers, you flip-flop. Maybe the Giants give a 3rd or a 4th round pick, and the Broncos give us a 5th round pick in return for Cortland Sutton, and we get the veteran wide receiver I think we need, and you get a veteran wide receiver who's cheaper and same type of receiver as Cortland Sutton, in my opinion. So I think it's selfish. I'm ready to move on. I had this argument with Kurt on his show, Keith, and I'm this way. Marvin Mims needs to be the guy to step up. And you know what? Cortland Sutton don't want to play. All right, Mims will take over the role, and it'll be Mims, Reynolds, and Troy Franklin going forward. That's the future. Let's go.
You know, he brings up a fantastic point, man. This room is absolutely stacked. It's one of the rooms we've been kind of talking about throughout this offseason. As it seems now we've brought in Troy Franklin, and we have Mims, and we have Jalen Virgil, and we have Humphreys, and we have who else? Tim Patrick's back now. We have Devon Vele, who's been drafted. I mean, this wide receiver room is getting stacked. I'm going to turn it over to Albert. Albert, expert opinion, man. Is Cortland Sutton now expendable because of all the talent that we've now kind of put on this team? Is it time to move on from a Cortland Sutton?
He made himself expendable. He is wanting top 5, top 7 money as a wide receiver, and he is not even right now, in my opinion, not even qualified to be in the top 22. Last year, yeah, he did have 10 touchdowns. Okay, great. But how did they come? 2 were excellent catches. But the others, Russell Wilson played them right in the pocket, and he got them right in the basket. So they were pretty much anybody with pretty decent hands could have caught those balls. So, yeah, Cortland Sutton, to me, he's pricing himself out of the team, and I'm okay with that. And I saw something like that. If somebody is in need of a wide receiver and they have an inside linebacker, let's see if they can make a trade, because that is something we will talk about later, but I think that is something we could use.
And Keith, can I just add 2 more sentences? You
2.
make
I'm just kidding. Maybe 3.
Giants, Sutton's back with Drew Lock.
A reunion of sorts. Yes. And you know, they had something together in of their own. You know, I'm gonna just go ahead and throw this whole mess that I threw to Kenny, to Albert. I'm gonna throw it all up to Trevor, man. What are your thoughts on Cortland Sutton? Is this a push out? Is this a trade opportunity? Is there enough talent on this team? Do we need Cortland Sutton as that fixture for a guy like Bo Nix?
Well, first of all, I think there's some sort of jealousy there with Cortland Sutton because Jerry Jeudy got a contract extension earlier this offseason. So I think, you know, having Cortland Sutton having a better year last year than Jerry Jeudy, I think he wants a contract extension. Again, I'm all for guys getting paid, but asking for more money and base salary, I don't know how much to believe of that, because again, he has $2 million in guarantees. I think you would think that the guarantees is where he wants to be upped, and upping his base salary, it's not going to really do much as far as guaranteed money. So that's where that report to me is like, well, I'm not sure. I mean, don't get me wrong with Jeremy Fowler, I think he's very credible, but it doesn't make a ton of sense to me when it comes to guaranteed salary. You think he'd want that to be raised from $2 million up to where he's comfortable at making. But I don't think you trading Cortland Sutton, you're not going to get a ton back. That's the thing. I think you get maybe at best a 4th round pick. You need to give Bo Nix enough weapons. You kind of picked your poison when you kept Cortland Sutton and you traded Jerry Jeudy away. So for me, I think you need to see it through, see how well Cortland Sutton sticks with and fits with Bo Nix in this offense, and go from there. If he doesn't fit, then okay, then you can absolutely move him. But I think that if you can come to kind of to a happy medium in a middle ground there between the two sides, the Broncos and Cortland Sutton, I think that would be the best for both sides. And so, I think that's something to watch out for. I think that $2 million guarantee, I think that really hits the Broncos wagon on it. If they didn't want Cortland Sutton back, why would you keep him and then let that $2 million be guaranteed? So it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. Again, June 11th is that date to watch for mandatory minicamp to start. So I think between now and then, hopefully we'll hear something back on the Cortland Sutton situation.
Yeah, really interesting situation, because if you talk to the coach, and coach was up in front of the microphone talking about this, no worries, things will work itself out. Cortland Sutton's a leader. He knows how to get things done. We're not worried about it. Let's move along. As far as he's concerned, it seems like it's in the bag. But when we start, looking from an outside perspective, I think it makes sense to start questioning, do these demands make sense, for someone to be making, especially in the position that he's in, the production that he's had, especially if you just start to take out last year and we start talking about his career as a whole. We're not talking about a top 10 receiver in this league. And then again, kind of wrestling, shaking the boat right now as things are trying to really get on path. Mark Calderio comes in. I just wanted to go back to, and he says, I like that Kenny trade Slayton. I like that Kenny trade Slayton for Sutton. Boy, that's I don't know why that tripped me up, but it did. But a little bit of hats off to the outside the box thinking, because you nailed it right off the bat, Kenny. Going from an outside perspective, you do have an outside perspective, and maybe that's a potential. Shake things up, get a couple of new fresh faces, fresh new homes, see what they're possible, figure out the compensation on the side, but really just try to get fresh look, a fresh outlook for both these guys on maybe some teams, and who knows what's possible. Get to one more real quick, or a few more real quick. Pearl says, yes, Cortland can go. And I need to get to this one because Phil came in here dropping stars, and he says, good evening, Keith, Trevor, and Dutchie. We got plenty of younger receivers, and there will be some free agents after training camp. Yeah, I absolutely agree, Phil. And thank you so much for the stars, man. Phil's been a fantastic supporter, and can't thank you enough for, just your endless support, man. It seems like every single time we get on a podcast, we can expect Phil to be in here. And it means a lot, Phil. It really means a lot from me, from the rest of the DBR cast, even from Kenny. Kenny loves it too. So thank you so much. But I'm going to go ahead and I'll go around the horn on this. He's saying we got plenty of younger receivers, and there could be some free agents. It's tough to speculate free agents, but when we start talking about those younger receivers, who are you excited about the most? We got a Marvin Mims. We have Troy Franklins. We have Devon Velays. Maybe there's even a tight end or two that you're excited about. I'm going to start off with Albert Mile High Dutchie as we maybe look beyond Cortland Sutton, but we still look on this roster. What young receivers are you excited for on this Denver Bronco roster? One receiver, and then I'll go around the horn on some of the other guys.
I just was going to say I'm not going to take all of them.
Oh, thank you.
But I'm really excited about Franklin. I want to see what he can do in his team, and especially because they already have a connection. Bo Nix and Franklin already have a connection, so that is already established. And with an offense that we are going to create, I think it's only going to get better. And I'm really excited to see Franklin and Bo Nix connect many times.
I agree, man. There's something to be said about that. I was actually watching a little piece where Joe Namath was actually being interviewed, and he was asked, why do you think the quarterbacks have a hard time sometimes syncing up with their wide receivers? He says, well, I think when the wide receiver gets in the game, all of a sudden he has a second gear that he hasn't had in practice. He got all that adrenaline running through him system. And all of a sudden that ball that was out on time on practice is behind him out in the game. And there's something to be said about that chemistry of playing in the game together. And that's something that Bo Nix and Troy Franklin have. And it's something that you'll have to work with in order to try to figure out in-game situations with some of these receivers that you can't mimic in practice. I like that. That's a good take, buddy. I'm going to go over to Kenny, man. What wide receiver are you excited for this Denver Bronco team? Oh, I got you on mute, buddy. Or you got yourself on mute, I should say. Maybe I'll
There we
come back
go.
to.
There we
Oh,
go.
there it is. Whew. My hair, buddy. You almost got passed over, but you got it, man. What do you got for a wide
I'm
receiver?
excited about one guy, Trevor, Dutchy, Posse. I'm going to give you one guy, and it's one guy only, and it's going to be Marvin Mims. And it's got to be Mims because of one thing. All his problems with Sutton, Mims needs to step up and say, I'm going to be that number one guy. I'm not just a glorified punt returner. I'm not just a kick returner that's going to go to Pro Bowl. I'm the guy you moved up in the second round last year to go get to be that future number one guy. Well, I'm going to take that step up to be that number one guy this year. And you guys can do what you want with Sutton because I'm going to be that number one guy and I'm not looking back. And I'm super excited to see what Mims is going to do because I think he can be that guy. So I'm very excited about seeing what Mims is going to do this year and step up, especially with these problems with Sutton.
Well, I've been scrubbing like every podcast, every insider, every guy that might have a possibility of seeing these guys in practice. And the word is out that Mims is looking a little bit better in his route tree. Things are looking crisper. Things are looking tighter. It looks like he's doing things better out there. And if that's the case, there's a lot of reason to be excited for someone who is already a Pro Bowler to turn it up and be a wide receiver, maybe possible Pro Bowl candidate in year 2 for the Denver Broncos. Nice take, buddy. Are you going someplace else, Trevor? Or are you going, or are you going with one of these guys that we've already nailed? I know it's getting thin here for wide receivers to be excited about.
Yeah, I like both picks, from Dutchy and from Kenny. I agree with Kenny. I think, Marvin Mims is a guy that definitely needs to step up. And either way, if Sutton's on this roster or not, Mims has got to be the guy to step up. But I'll go in a different direction here. I'm going to go Tim Patrick. Listen, this is a guy that's been 2 years removed from ACL injury. He's got to prove his worth, right? I mean, again, it's a low guaranteed contract, but this is a chance for you in your career where it's kind of make it or break it. I mean, either you are going to step up and up to the plate and be productive and earn yourself a new contract, or, if you don't, you get hurt again, you might be out of the league. So I think not big expectations for Tim Patrick because I don't think Denver's expecting a ton out of him. There's no way you can after missing 2 seasons in a row, in my opinion. So I would say Tim Patrick, but again, I think that's why I'm kind of against moving Courtland Sutton because I do not think bigger wide receiver wise, like Josh Reynolds, I don't think he's close to being a number one wide receiver. Courtland Sutton to me is the closest I think that this team has as of right now to being a number one wide receiver. I'm not saying he is. I'm saying productive wise. I think that he is closer than anybody from Josh Reynolds to Tim Patrick to being that number one wide receiver. Why take that away from Bo Nix, a rookie quarterback that you're trying to see and get the most out of this season?
Very good, man. Would it make you feel any better if you could maybe get somebody out there in free agency, or does it need to be Courtland Sutton? That's the one thing I'll throw back to you quickly.
I don't think you're going to find the productivity on the free agency market that you're going to get from Courtland Sutton. So I don't think you're going to get an upgrade over Courtland Sutton as of where the free agency market is right now. I don't think there's an upgrade over Courtland Sutton.
Yeah, a lot of cuts to be coming. You never know what those will bring. I know free agency is really tough to try to speculate, especially at this point in the offseason. But yeah, good points all the way around. I wouldn't necessarily put Tim Patrick in the young category, and I understand a lot of options were taken away from you, but it brings up the idea, and then probably a good, maybe segue as we start to get into maybe some other topics that we were kind of talking about. But I want to get to the comments and get a few other thoughts on this as well. Got to get Victor in here because Victor, love seeing you in here, man. It seems like it's been nice having you back. Let's just put it that way. He's coming in here and saying Knicks for 6, and he's also saying we need a trick play called the Flying V because of all those Oregon Ducks that we have on our team now. So if anybody doesn't know, the Flying V reference to the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim and the Disney films that were around about those. So Nigel's coming in. Says the issue that I have with Sutton is that he performed brilliantly with Wilson as QB, but when Wilson was benched, Stidham couldn't hit him and Sutton dropped catches. We don't know what Sutton will be with QBs we have. Great point, Nigel. I mean, right now we know what he looked like with Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson's out the door. And so when it comes to Zach Wilson, when it comes to the way he looked with Jarrett Stidham, with the way he looks with Bo Nix, well, right now we have no idea how he looks with Bo Nix as he hasn't showed up to any of these off-season training activities, these OTAs. So great point, man. It all is about that chemistry. And I think Dutchie pointed out very well with the fact that with his excitement about Franklin. Ernie Mays comes in and says, Krull is going to be awesome as our tight end. And I kind of alluded to maybe some of those other young receiving possibilities. Albert, I know that last year you were really high on what Dulcich could do. Now it seems like Krull is maybe taking the lead there. Pearl's excited about Franklin as well. Nigel's coming in and saying, I think Vele is a prospect we need to keep an eye on. And that's another good one that I think, as a lot of people said, he's run out there with the number 81 on his back, one that we're all used to seeing Tim Patrick run around in, and he looks very Tim Patrick-esque, which is a great compliment in my opinion. Last one, and then I'm going to get around to some other ideas and get some thoughts from the rest of the panel because I just keep on talking. I am not going to pay wide receiver Courtland Sutton any money because he hasn't helped the Broncos make the NFL playoffs since being drafted by the Broncos, says Michael Ronquillo over there on Facebook. And this is, I'll give you my last 2 cents on this particular topic. Then we're going to move on to like I said, the meat of our show. There's something to be said about that. We've moved on from a Justin Simmons. We've moved on from a Josie Jewell. We've painfully, at least from a pocketbook standpoint, moved on from Russell Wilson. And I feel very much that this is a turning of the page for the Denver Broncos and a whole new outlook and an outlook for what we want to be. What do we want to be? Heck, we even got new jerseys and new everything seems like it's new right now. New owners, everything. It's like everything seems to be turning the page towards something new. And maybe we don't need to hold on to the old. And certainly if the old is trying to somehow, wrangle themselves into a better situation, it seems like fresh, clean break might even be the best thing.
Keith, real quick while we're on this topic. So I don't mind giving Courtland Sutton $2-3 million on his base salary because it's not going to be converted into a signing bonus. So you can still move on off of Courtland Sutton next season after this season's over if you don't trade him, and you're still saving money. So I don't think it's the biggest deal as some may think it might be, because you're not guaranteed anything with him if you're giving him more money on his base salary. It's not like it's a signing bonus. If it's a signing bonus, then you're making it more difficult for you to move on off of him.
All right. Well, go ahead, Kenny.
So one thing about that, Trevor, just to make it clear, I'm not complaining about the $2 to $3 million. I'm complaining about him asking for $2 to $3 more million. It seems like he doesn't want to be on the Broncos. $2 to $3 million for a guy making that much money is nitpicking and saying, I really don't want to be on the Broncos. Move me. In behind closed doors, that's what it sounds like to me. Is like he doesn't want to be here, in my opinion. Not that I don't want to pay him $2 to $3 million more. It's the way he's going about it, in my opinion. Is he's not at practice and et cetera, et cetera. So I just wanted to clear that off the air, clear that on the air.
It's true. If it's like, man, I'll come in the door for $5 more. It's like, what are we arguing over? What are we arguing about for $5 more, dude? Are we really arguing over $5? It's like the guy who's asking for another 50 cents at the garage sale. It's like, are we arguing over 50 cents? Is that what we're doing here? It's like, do you want it or do you not want it? We're really 50 cents. Okay. It's time to move on. You know what I mean? And maybe time to move on this topic, but not time to move on from, well, maybe it's time to move on. If you're maybe getting a little bit bored of me talking, no, I'm just kidding. Don't leave. But if you happen to leave, head on over to Morgan Trinkets. Because, man, I'll tell you what, if you're looking for expertise in Southwest jewelry, Southwest pottery, and estate gold at wholesale prices, you found the right spot. Morgan Trinkets has over 33 years experience. And I'll tell you what, they used to be nationwide, had to shrink back. Now they concentrate mainly on northern Colorado and southern Wyoming. But I'll tell you what, they do fantastic shows there. And over on Facebook, they'll transact, of course, all across the United States. So if you're over there and you're spending $50 or more on Facebook, guess what? All your shipping is free. If you're out there checking out one of their shows, find one of their fantastic pieces, want to buy it, to take all major credit cards. Over on Facebook, it's PayPal only for transacting. But I'll tell you what, if you don't see anything beautiful over that Facebook on their Facebook page, Morgan Trinkets, Facebook, Morgan Trinkets, if you don't see anything fantastic, just message them. They have amazing inventory. They'll go back, they'll find the piece you're looking for, and you'll be happy. Check out Morgan Trinkets. That's Morgan Trinkets for all your Southwest jewelry, Southwest pottery, and estate gold at wholesale prices. Morgan Trinkets Facebook. I'll jump the link in. I'll tell you what, man, you guys have been supporting so well, and we appreciate it so much. Gonna go ahead and I'm going to check a few comments just really quick. Yeah, all right. We're going to be jumping around a little bit. Like I said, new comments. Got to say hello to a few more people. Edwin Vargas coming in saying hello from Fayetteville, North Carolina, Broncos fan group, man. Appreciate it, man. Very much, man. We love that we're getting people from all over the place. Heck, we had Patrick coming in from Hawaii a little bit here earlier. We had Nigel coming in from down under, and now we got Edwin coming in from Fayetteville. So we got all time zones taken care of, including Kenny coming in on the East Coast. So appreciate it, Kenny. All right. We got a lot of agreements with Kenny, but I want to go ahead and jump to that next topic, guys. Like I said, hits and misses in the offseason was the main topic for our show. So I want to start off, and maybe we'll start off with the hits, because let's start off at least a little bit positive, right? Albert, man, I want to hit it with you as well. It seems like I've been topping you off right off the bat, man, and giving you all the love, giving you the first picks, but you get it again, I guess, because I nailed it. What are your thoughts, man, on a hit of the offseason for the Denver Broncos?
A hit on the offseason for the Denver Broncos. For me, that would be that new defensive lineman that we got. We needed one. I forgot his name.
Malcolm Roach?
Franklin Myers.
Which one?
Franklin Myers.
Franklin Myers, that one. Because we needed a run defense happening, and we didn't have that. And finally, hopefully, we got a hit on that one. And I'm really looking forward to see him play with the Denver Broncos. It would make the defensive ends' lives much easier. The linebackers' life is easier. The pass rushers' lives easier. I think all in all, with that run defense shored up a little bit, I think we will see a much stouter defense.
You know, it's funny, and maybe I'll just wrap this all together as I kind of summarize that. As Alberts comes on, he says, I think the defensive line, we're all trying to shout out names, and I think that says a lot to maybe what happened in that group, right? John Franklin Myers, Roach, Blackson. You know, there was so much done on the interior of that defensive line group. Maybe a point to all three, but just really what we did in this offseason to change where we were at to where we possibly could be absolutely has to be a highlight for this Denver Broncos team in this offseason. So I like it, man. John Franklin Myers, I think, is going to be a lot bigger of an impact than I think even we realize at this point. I think we got a little bit excited to begin with. I think it's kind of tailed off. I will say that he's not currently at OTAs as he's trying to get things wrapped up, probably from traveling and moving from the New York area out to the Denver to the Denver area. So he hasn't been out there seen as of yet, but we expect him here shortly. Got to give it to our guest. I keep skipping over the stepfather and giving it over to the Mile High Dutchie. Kenny, where do you think the Broncos maybe hit a home run? I guess since we're over here on the Rocky Mountain Sports Network, we can use that reference.
I think there's two left, so I think Trevor's going to get one of the home runs. So I'm going to go Troy Franklin. I'm going to go. There's another guy out there, but I'm going to go Troy Franklin, and you got him in the 4th round this year in this year's draft. And are we talking players in the draft, or it could be?
We're talking hits however you want to. We could talk a whole position group. You could talk an individual player.
Make sure I didn't, wasn't jumping ahead here. But I'm going to go Troy Franklin, 4th round pick out of Oregon, teammate with Bo Nix. Yes, everybody knows who's been watching. I'm not a fan of the Bo Nix pick. I hope I'm wrong about him. And this will be the reason why I'm wrong about him. They got him his teammate. I'm going to name a couple players, couple quarterbacks right now in the league. Joe Burrow has Jamar Chase. Tua Tagovailoa has Jalen Waddle. Trevor Lawrence doesn't have a wide receiver, but he's got his running back, ETN. Those 3 quarterbacks are very successful in the league, just to name a couple. You get these 2 from day one together, you may have something for the next few years, and this could be a home run, which was in the 4th round of the draft this year. And I know there's another one, and I think Trevor's probably going to go that way. So there was 2 home runs, I think, on the board back to back. So I got the first home run, and I'm going to let Trevor get the belly to belly, as they call back-to-back home runs in baseball.
I love it. I love it. I'll turn it over to Trevor in just a second, but I'm going to rewind just a little bit, man. Hit rewind on the tape player here. I want to go back to Kenny real quick because he's going back to that Cortland Sutton speak, and I want to get a thought out to Nigel. Aussie Wombat, if you don't remember from the draft show that was supporting us so much. And he says, at Kenny, could it also be the Cortland saying to the Broncos, if you love me enough, it's only a couple more $1 million?
That's a great point. It could be. It very well could be. And, it's a game of chess. It's a game of chess right now. Chess players out there. It's like, it's a very, very, Broncos move now. Cortland made his move. Now it's time for the Broncos to make theirs.
Yeah, absolutely. Pearl said a little bit earlier, the longer he holds out, it'll be tougher for him to click with Bo Nix. So, but talking about clicking and hitting, we'll turn over to Trevor, man. Hits of the offseason, man. It's wide open, man. What do you think was a hit for the offseason for the Denver Broncos, buddy?
Well, I just want to reiterate, I think Dutchy's on point for what he said about the defensive line. I think Franklin Myers, that's what a great acquisition. I think you can argue that's Denver's best acquisition of the offseason, in my opinion. Add in Roach, add in hopefully DJ Jones can rebound and be the DJ Jones of 2021 when he was with San Francisco. Hopefully you can get that. But I'm going to go, and I don't think Kenny's going to agree with me on this one, because he just said that that's not his guy. But I'm going to go with Bo Nix. Is it a home run? It's yet to be determined. But here's the thing. We talked about giving up draft capital, right? Denver didn't have to give up draft capital. They still got their quarterback of the future, a guy that they can 100% believe in and get behind. I like that because guess what? That sets up your franchise moving forward to build around Bo Nix and help this roster through the draft instead of giving up 3 future first-round picks for your franchise quarterback. Now you're having to build your roster through free agency and really hit on free agents, and Denver hasn't done a great job of that in the past. So I'm going to go Bo Nix. Is a home run? Not yet to be determined, but what I like it is, another reason why I like it is you didn't have to give up a ton of draft capital to go get your franchise quarterback. You still got a guy that you can 100% believe in, that your coaching staff thinks they can get the best out of, specifically Sean Payton. And now Broncos country has a quarterback that they can get behind without the premium that would have costed to get up into the draft.
There you go, man. Michael Ronquillo's in here agreeing. He says the hit for the Broncos is finally drafting their quarterback for the future in the NFL, Mr. Bo Nix, right? You don't go out there and you don't invest number 12 overall pick if you don't think he's going to be the future. Like you said, maybe not a hit yet, but a hit nonetheless, because it's talking about the future. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because my hit, and it's, take it for what it is. I'm gonna hit the rewind button a little bit on this one too. We're no longer talking about high knees on an airplane. We're no longer talking about an entourage. We're no longer talking about an office. We're no longer talking about special treatment. We're no longer talking about, how hard of a worker one guy is, and having to make excuses and try to justify, I used to, there's an old analogy that says, there's no such thing as bad publicity. But I'll tell you what, man, not having to answer the questions and trying to turn the page on the culture for this Denver Bronco team, it was right to move on from Russell Wilson. I can't imagine another year of it. quite honestly. So I think the hit of the offseason, even though it was a big hit, it was an $85 million hit. It's a $53 million hit this season, was moving on from Russell Wilson, because I think at some point you do need to turn the page. And I think that's another reason that we don't see Justin Simmons necessarily as a Denver Bronco, even though he didn't come with the baggage. It was the baggage of being around on this Denver Bronco team for so long, never winning, never making the playoffs. At some point you got to turn the page and you got to get a fresh perspective and a clean perspective. And we definitely needed that. And I'm glad that, I hate to say it, but I'm glad that Russell Wilson is no longer a part of it, just from the distraction point, not from the talent standpoint, from the distraction point. I think that's a hit for the Denver Broncos. So,
could I ask you a quick K&K rapid fire question just for you, because you've been asking us all the questions tonight. So just rapid fire.
Yeah, absolutely. Go right ahead, buddy. I've been getting dry as an egg. Feel free.
Because I'd like to know how, because I'm in the New York area. I follow the New York media and fans here. And it's a big if, it's an if, but it's a reality. Bo Nix is a rookie. You're going to get rookie struggles maybe at the beginning of the year, somewhat throughout the year. All rookies struggle. If Bo Nix gets off to a slow start, my question to you, Keith, Denver media and fans that backed Russell Wilson, is that going to affect Bo Nix? Is the media going to be that bad, or the fans that bad? Because New York media would tear him apart if it got that. Because if the situation was in New York, Bo Nix would unfortunately get ripped apart if he got off to a slow start by the Russell Wilson backers and fans. How does the Denver media, if he gets off to a slow start? And fans, I should say, that wanted Russell Wilson to stay.
I think we have a patient fan base because we do need to look towards the future at some point. I think they would have been patient with Drew Lock. I think they'll be even more patient with Bo Nix.
And that's what drives me.
That's my quick answer.
Being a New York fan, because we're the opposite. I
agree.
So that's why I asked that, because I didn't know how you guys were in Denver area. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I got another quick one because we got a new name that came in. Magnus comes in, or Magus, I think it is. And he just wants to, maybe it's a statement, but I'll put it in a question. Do you think if Tim Patrick steps up and stays healthy, that they won't need a Courtland Sutton? How big would that be for negating the need for a Courtland Sutton? I'll go, 30 seconds or less really quickly around the horn. I'll start with you, Kenny. Tim Patrick, a replacement for Courtland Sutton?
100%. Yes, that's simple 5-second answer. 100%.
Awesome. Like it. Well, we'll keep it as short as you like. How about you, Mr. Albert Mile High Dutchie?
TP, comeback player of the year. Don't need Sutton then.
Ooh, man. 2 strong ones, man. Are we making a 3 around the horn? What do you think, Rocket Man?
No, they still need Sutton. TP is not he's not close to being number 1 wide receiver. I'll just say that. Sutton is closer, in my opinion.
Yeah. Man, I would have to agree if you just had to look at it on paper. Though, I would love a Sutton over a Tim Patrick. But again, I'm just the guy who advocated as the hit of the offseason, moving on from maybe something that's been holding you back. And that's where I maybe land a little bit more as far as Courtland Sutton is concerned. And, it feels like Tim Patrick's turned the page. He's went ahead and he signed a pretty inexpensive contract, and he's out there working an OTA. So, we can get back to more hits maybe later if we have a little bit more time, gentlemen. But I want to see how many misses we have, and I'll bring it backwards around the horn. We'll go one round at a time on the misses, and we'll hit Trevor first, man. Where did the Denver Broncos just miss when it came to the offseason?
Man, there's a few ways I can go here, and I have multiple. I'm going to go to the running back position though first. And I say this because you have a rookie quarterback now, in place. Now we're talking about a competition at running back, and we don't know how that's going to pan out. The Denver Broncos haven't had a 1,000-yard running back since 2019. Philip Lindsay. That is a long time without having any, being efficient, running the football. this is probably part of the reason why you're seeing these quarterbacks struggle. I think that's got to be a part of it, and that's something we've got to bring up. But I think a guy they missed upon was a guy that was in the division. That's Josh Jacobs, who obviously signed with the Green Bay Packers. This is a guy that had three out of the 5 seasons that he's played in the NFL. He's had 1,000-yard seasons, and this is a guy that I think is going to help Jordan Love a lot. And I think he could have really helped the Denver Broncos with Bo Nix. And if they were going to go in that direction, I know that the Broncos, as far as cap wise, were a little restricted what they could do. But again, Josh Jacobs, how the contract was, it's 4 years, $48 million. But actually, it's a 1-year deal, $14.8 million deal with a potential opt-out. So you're telling me that you don't want a surefire 1,000-yard running back, no competition, to help Bo Nix out and run in the football and be efficient, or you want the competition, and we don't even know if they're ever going to get a 1,000-yard running back this season to help Bo Nix out. So for me, I'm going to start with the running game, and that's something I'm going to continue to call out. It's Josh Jacobs. Mr. Josh Jacobs is a guy that I think Denver missed out on, and it's a guy that has been a Bronco killer in years past.
For a running back market that's not that expensive, especially in this day and age, like you said, $14 million, that's less than Courtland Sutton's going to be asking, that's for sure. To go in there and get that number one guy rather than, hey, everyone's been flouting and touting, I should say, the competition will have at running back. There's something to be said about having the number one guy right out the gate as well. So, and that's something the Denver Broncos don't have. So, miss for you. That kind of surprised me, man. That kind of surprised me, but I like the way you took it, the running back position. Head over to Dutchie, man. Misses in the offseason, man. Where did we miss this offseason, man? Where could the Broncos have gotten better and they just decided not to do it?
First, I want to say thank you, Phil, for sending the additional stars. We didn't miss it. We haven't come to it yet. Thank you.
Thank you.
What we definitely missed on is they knew about the injury of Drew Sanders, and they didn't get a linebacker that could take his place. And I think that is one of the big misses. They could have looked into the draft to get a linebacker or fill the spot with a linebacker, because Drew Sanders will definitely be missed. He was that side-to-sideline linebacker, and we don't have one right now. And I think that is a big miss for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, speculation whether the whole Ellis pick was trying to supplement, for a loss that we saw in Drew Sanders. But that being said, picking up a late round draft pick, trying to make sure that you're set at the middle linebacker position when you've lost someone like Josie Jewell, maybe not the strongest answer that you'd like to hear. Maybe a strong guy in free agency would have been a better call in order to try to solidify that position. Not that there was a ton out there, but again, a position that, let's face it wasn't that long ago that we were hoping Josie Jewell could be that guy, because middle linebacker was just a mess for the Denver Broncos. And it wasn't until recently until he kind of filled that role. I'm going to hit Kenny real quick, and then we'll go ahead and we'll hit Phil's question/comment as well. So, Kenny, what are your thoughts as far as misses for this Denver Bronco team in the offseason?
Absolutely. I'll give you one. It's real funny, though. But before that, Trevor, rarity that Trevor and I disagree, but I had the Broncos as a hit for the running backs. So I got a future segment for the Denver Bronco Roundup, a 5-minute segment of a debatable topic between two panelists. So when I'm a future guest on the show, maybe we can debut that segment, and I'll have a 5-minute debate with Trevor on why I think it's a hit, and Trevor can say why it's a miss. And we'll have the posse vote who wins on the debate, and the other panelists will get to put some sense into the debate as well. Fun little segment, I think, Keith. We got to work on it. I think that could be the debut there. But a miss for me, it's simple. There's a good chance of getting your quarterback or a rookie quarterback, whoever it was, whether it was McCarthy, Nix, any of the quarterbacks, Drake May. There was a good chance you were getting a quarterback in this draft. And in my opinion, you downgraded at center tremendously with Sam Mustipher instead of re-signing Lloyd Cushenberry. I think that could be Sam Mustipher is going to have a lot of he's going to have a big role in this offensive line, and I hope he's ready to step up because you got a rookie quarterback behind you that you're snapping the ball to. And Sam Mustipher was on practice squad, and he moved up to the Bears. Bears signed him, and he played 16 games, so good for him. But Lloyd Cushenberry, Pro Bowler, to Sam Mustipher, I think that's the miss, in my opinion. Center, not much experience with a rookie quarterback.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to echo kind of what you're talking about, because my miss was the offensive line in twofold. One, Lloyd Cushenberry's gone, and Lloyd Cushenberry got that big contract, and Lloyd Cushenberry looked pretty good. Two, you're absolutely right. The center position was pretty much ignored. Sam Mustipher comes in, but guess what? Guess who wasn't taking reps with the ones? It wasn't Sam Mustipher. Guess who else wasn't taking reps with the ones? It wasn't Alex Forsythe. Neither one of those guys were taking reps with it. That leaves one name, if you can do the math there. Luke Wattenberg was out there taking reps with the number one. So, yeah, we got a mess there. The other thing is how long has the Denver Broncos ignored the left tackle position as far as drafting is concerned? Forever. The last time they drafted a left tackle was the guy who sits over there at left tackle, Garrett Bowles. And this team is not getting any younger, and we don't have anybody to replace him. And possibly he was going to be out the door. I don't think it's going to be long before he is. And we have nobody to back him up. We were super, super lucky in how healthy that offensive line was last year, how many times they were able to go out there, the starting five, and, break the huddle together. If we start falling apart in any capacity, we are hurting. We are hurting when it comes to that offensive line. So I think it was a miss to not really add anything to this offensive line, especially when it comes to key positions. As Kenny, you pointed out, Sam Mustipher isn't anybody who's, balls out, goes out there and absolutely takes that number one position. And again, ignoring the left tackle, I think, is just way too much. Got to do another rewind, guys, because I got to get back to Phil McLaughlin. And then I got to get to Kenny's great question that he had. He said Phil McLaughlin is coming in, and I'm gonna maybe we can pose this as a question too. He's saying, I'm just hoping Patrick and Dulcich play all season like Pro Bowlers. And man, how great would it be to have both these guys come back from injury and absolutely, as I just said earlier, ball out and just be those guys that we know that they could possibly be. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and we'll go Patrick really quick around the horn. Where are you setting the over under on games played and started this season? I'm going to start off with you, Trevor. How many games played started does Tim Patrick participate in?
I'm going to go 8. I think he stays a little healthy a little bit longer. I think this is a guy that's hungry to get back, and I think that he will. I think he will prove some people wrong.
8 games. That's still pretty low on a 17-game season. All right, man. Head over to Dutchie. Games played and or started for Tim Patrick.
13. He's going to play 13. Yep.
13 of the 17. And Mr. Kenny Kirkpatrick, I'll give it to you with Tim Patrick. How many games do you think?
With me, Keith, it's going to be 14. Luck has got to be on this guy's side. And, just off topic there, you might want to get to Phil's next comment.
All right. He's nailing right through. I appreciate it, Phil. I'll get to the next one. First I want to go back around the horn, and I'll start with Kenny. I'll go reverse order then. By the way, I'm probably right there with Kenny on this one, man. I think that Tim Patrick is going to come back. I think with the health is going to be there, and I'm hoping for that 14 games that he comes back and he's able to play. So now we'll head over to Greg Dulcich. I think there's a little less optimism here. I'll start right off with Kenny on this one. Kenny, how many games played do you get out of Greg Dulcich in 2024-25?
This guy's reminding me of Darren Waller, unfortunately. I'm going to go more I think the over-under for those Wits and Wagers fans is going to be 10. I'm going to go 9. I'm going to go single digits, and Krull's going to step up big time this year.
9 games for Dulcich. I'll be honest, I might be a little bit happy with that. But how happy would you be with that, Albert? Do you think that Dulcich gets to 9 games or less or more?
More, because he knows that he has somebody in his blowing in his neck, and he wants to secure his spot, so he's going to give everything he has. He does at least 14.
I'm going to back up just a little bit because we had a couple of predictions when it came to Tim Patrick before I get over to Trevor's prediction when it comes to Dulcich. Jody's coming in and saying 16 games, and same with Pearl. Pearl's coming in and saying 16 games will be great. So now we head over to Greg Dulcich and Trevor's opinion on how many games he'll be able to play.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 13 for Dulcich. I'm a little lower on some of these guys because I just what their injury history has been, and Broncos I don't think are counting on either one of these guys to be healthy. I think if they are healthy, it's a bonus. Tim Patrick, look with the wide receiver depth that this team added this offseason. Troy Franklin, Josh Reynolds, Cortland Sutton if he's back. That's why I was a little bit lower on Tim Patrick. I don't think they're relying upon him to do anything. I think it's a bonus if he makes his roster and if he produces just with that low guaranteed contract. But with Dulcich, I think it's 13 games. We'll see what Kroll's going to do. I know there's been a lot of hype with Kroll but again, they're not practicing pads yet. So I just want to lower those expectations for Kroll right now. And then with Dulcich, I think that the pressure is on for him and Patrick to produce, but I think with Dulcich for sure, hopefully he can stay healthy, because I think if he can stay healthy, maybe we see a combination of Kroll and Greg Dulcich on the field together. That would be something that Denver hasn't had in a long time. So I'm going to go a little bit higher with Dulcich, but I'm still a little bit lower on both these guys just because of their injury history and whatnot.
It's funny, these two guys maybe sit in two different camps when it comes to Broncos country. I think there's a lot of love for Tim Patrick to come back and perform and do well, and there's a lot of, I hate to use the word hate, but I'll use it in this term, I guess, hatred for Greg Dulcich, because of the injuries he's had and his inability to be on the field. I heard it on a podcast, and I'm like, just remember, all these guys want to be out there. They want to be playing. Don't be so far negative against these guys. It's their dream to be out there and playing in the NFL. I don't think that Greg Dulcich is doing anything but trying to get out there and play on the field. That being said, 4 hamstring injuries over 2 years. I just don't see how he can possibly get more than 7 games out of the season. It's going to be kind of a medical miracle at this point if he's able to do it. 7, maybe 8 games, because if you're injuring your same hamstring, by the way, 4 injuries, 2 seasons, it just doesn't stack up for me to him being able to go out there and play 13, 14 games. I'm putting it more like at 7 at this point. So, Phil McLaughlin, more stars. Appreciate you, Phil, man. I tell you what, I think we're ending up going 2 hours if Phil keeps dropping stars. I don't know what else to do, guys. But we're coming up on the hour, and I still wanted to get to a Kenny question. But that being said, Phil comes in and says, well, guys, could either have a great combo or a disaster with a rookie quarterback and a center. I know I've been picking out on Dutchy and saying he gets to go first, but Dutchy is the first guy I heard on our draft show point out the fact that this could have been a very, very long-term plan. Now, I know they're not matched up playing, with the ones together right now, but combo for greatness or disaster, I'll head over to you, Dutchy. Does Forsyth need to be in there hiking it to Bo Nix? And would that be a good thing or a bad thing?
It can be a very good thing because they have played together, so they have a little bit of chemistry. They know how each other react a little bit. It could be a very, very good thing. But if Mustafa or Wattenberg outplays them, then you have to go with the best one. But most likely with Forsyth and Nix, they already have chemistry. And I think this was a plan that already happened last year. They started to happen last year, and I think that's why Forsyth got chosen. And I think Forsyth might have a really, really big shot to be the starting center.
I agree, man. I like the linkage. We're talking about Franklin. We're talking about Forsyth. We're talking about Bo Nix. It all just kind of falls together. Jody, our fourth horseman, who is usually in place if the stepfather isn't filling the void, is coming and saying that the fact that Greg Dulcich is still hurt is very concerning, and I agree. I want to maybe do a little rapid fire on this one because our a good friend Michael Ronquillo came in with this one. I'll throw this one since I just had Albert talk. I'll send this one over to Trevor, and I'll send this one over to the stepfather. How many NFL games for running back Javonte Williams? I'll start with you, Trevor. How many games do you think he plays this year?
I'm going to go full season for Javonte. I think Sean Payton wants to see something out of Javonte. I think it says something that he rode him as hard as he did last year, even though Javonte wasn't back fully healthy. I think Javonte is going to come back. I think with the mindset that it's, again, now or never. So many of these players, we're going to talk about this, throughout the summer and going into training camp. A lot of these guys are on prove-it deals. I mean, a lot of these guys are going to be free agents. They're going to have to prove that they can be productive if they want to stay a Denver Bronco or earn another contract around the NFL. So I think Javonte Williams falls in that category. I think he plays a full season because I think Sean Payton sees something in Javonte Williams. But real quick, Keith, I want to comment on the Tim Patrick thing. People that were at some media members that were at the practice the other day said that Tim Patrick looked like he was kind of favoring his lower half a little bit, so he was a little bit slower. So I think that's what concerned me about Dulcich, yes, but I'm also concerned about Tim Patrick though, because he's not moving and running his routes as sharply as he should be or could be. So I think that's something to also be concerned about. Hence why I said I don't put a lot of expectations on Tim Patrick to be healthy right now because I don't know how that's going to transition going forward. We're not even in a training camp yet, and he's already looked a little slow.
Yeah. Slow is what I've heard for sure. Had a hard time getting into that top gear. Didn't look like he wanted to test that leg out to full speed, right? Doesn't want to stretch it out as of yet. Maybe still good in the cuts, maybe still good in the small, short, intermediate. Not to give all our hopefully everybody out there watching that's not a Denver Bronco fan, all our Chiefs fans and Raiders fans and Chargers fans, any insight. James Green's coming in before I go to Kenny and saying, "What's up, guys? I know it's late, but it's been a while. Let me know the time you guys are live again." James from Kentucky. Well, James, I'm terrible at doing plugs. So you gave me the perfect opportunity. Denver Bronco Roundup, brought to you by the Rocky Mountain Sports Network, comes on every Tuesday, every Friday, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you never miss one of our episodes. And on top of that, we've got some fantastic Colorado Rockies coverage with Settle the Scores as well. You want to catch up on that as well. So, James, glad that you're here and welcome from Kentucky. But right now, I'm going to head over to Kenny, and he's going to give his take on that as well. How many games does Javonte play? And then, please, Kenny, get to your question. We might just have to give us what is the most important on your list rather than ranking, if that's okay, sir.
Absolutely. Rapid fire. I agree with Trevor. It's got to be a full season, but I'll just be a little different. I'll say 16. He gets a very minor injury sometime throughout the year, and he misses a game. But he's close to a full season for sure, if not full season.
And really quickly, I'm probably in that same point. I'd probably say 14 games. There's going to be maybe an opportunity at the end of the season if the Broncos don't go playoff bound that we want to take a look at another running back or two. Maybe gets injured for a game, give him 3 games out for the season. I could see a 14-game played for Javonte Williams. Appreciate the question, Michael Ronquillo. And now, Kenny, been waiting. He's had it in the queue. But I thought it was a fantastic question. It's a great way to maybe round out this show as well, buddy.
I thought about this question, guys, while I was on my way home today, and I think it's a fun one, and it's a simple one. We'll do it quick hitter style, Keith, however you want to do it, 20, 30 seconds or less.
Yeah, we got time.
For the posse, too, please play along. Which offensive group, in your opinion, is most important this year for Bo Nix to be successful? And I'll just go give you some examples. And by tonight's show, the running back room, who hasn't had a 1,000-yard rusher since 2019 when Trevor said Philip Lindsay. The wide receiver room with Cortland Sutton holding out. the tight ends, who we really don't have a superstar tight end, or the offensive line, which Keith and I both said had misses. I'll start with Keith since you've been hosting and asking us all the questions. I'll let you go first.
Sure, put me on the spot, man. I'm like all looking at these comments and everything. No, it's a fantastic question. If you're thinking about the importance to a rookie, running or a rookie quarterback, and you're thinking about all these positions, the wide receiver, the running back, the tight end, the offensive line, the one that for me, just because it's the one I'm probably the most nervous about, it's got to be that tight end room. Here's a room that, we haven't spent a lot of money on. We haven't went out there and tried to get that guy. We don't think we necessarily even have that guy. And now we're looking at a guy that's, we picked up for a late round draft pick off of the New Orleans Saints, and we're already heralding him as maybe the best new thing in Lucas Kroll. That tight end position is a place where, that quarterback can go quickly. And not only on top of that, he's the extension of that offensive line as far as blocking is concerned. So when you put all those pieces into place, man, I think that tight end position is the one that's, the most important for the Denver Broncos, because I think it has the most question at the same time. So that's where I'm going, man.
Very good.
Great question, by the way. I appreciate this.
I'm going to be Keith, guys. I'm going to tell you, Miss Pearl's saying running back room, Phil's saying tight end room, and Ernie's saying running back room. So there's a couple of running back rooms and a tight end room, tied 2-2 right now. Trevor, where are you going?
I think you can make a case for all of these, to be honest with you, a real case for all of these. I agree. It's got to be the running back room, in my opinion. That's just something that's an area where it's really concerning for me. Again, we want to talk about Russell Wilson struggling last year. Well, he hadn't really no running game all year. I mean, to be honest with you. And so, while most of the offensive woes was on Russell Wilson and him holding on to the ball, or him too long, or him just not finding open wide receivers, I think running the football, this team's got to be much better at that. If not, you're putting Bo Nix in a really difficult situation, and this is where this team's got to upgrade at. And just no matter who's under center and who's taking snaps, it don't matter. Zach Wilson, Bo Nix, Jared Stidham, you got to run the ball efficiently. Not just running the ball, but running the ball efficiently is very, very important, I think, for any offense to be successful. It really opens up the pass. If you don't believe me, go watch the Cleveland Browns game that the Denver Broncos played this past season, and you'll see just how much and how important it is to run the ball efficiently, and how great it can be to open up the passing game downfield.
Excellent, Trevor. Excellent. And Dutchy, your thoughts. Which room is most important for Bo Nix to be successful this year? Which group?
The group that is most important for Bo Nix to be successful is the O-line. If the O-line cannot protect him, if we see another 65, 70 sacks again for Bo Nix, how can it be a quarterback be successful, or even the running backs? And I want to say something about running backs, because I got skipped with the Pookie.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Javonte Williams, alias the Pookie. He will not play any hooky. He will be like the year of his rookie deal. And he will score, and he will be all 17 games there.
I don't know how to. I can answer all of them like Trevor said. If you got to pick one, it's really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I love everybody's points, and to me, it was when I started on here, before I answered the question, all day long I was saying running back, because to be successful, run the ball, and then it opens up the pass. But you got to be able to run the ball. You got to be able to pass the ball. You got to have an offensive line. So I'm with Dutchy. I think the offensive line and having that question at center, I think this is the most important group for Bo Nix to be successful this year. I think the offensive line has to be able to not only run protect, but also not only pass protect, but also be able to run the ball as well. So if Bo Nix is going to be successful this year, the offensive line is going to have to step up big time. So I agree with Dutchy. And that was just a last-second switch on me. I guess that's the advantage you have when you ask the question. You can make that last-second switch, because I was going running back, but I went offensive line. But thank you, audience, and thank you guys for answering that question.
Thank you,
And
Kenny.
thank you, Phil, for being supporter of mine and hanging out in the tight end room because nobody else chose it between me and him. I think me and him are the experts, just to let you know. Oh no.
I really think if Trevor would have said all, I would have accepted that. See, that's Kurt Valente usually does that. I'm going to take 2, even though you thought the question is 1. I'm going to go 2, but I would have allowed it if Trevor said all.
I was tempted. I didn't know that was an option.
There's no wrong answer, and everybody had great takes on it, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, I was ready. I thought for sure it was going to roll right off the lips, just the way it was kind of coming out. I thought for sure Albert was going to say, for me, it's going to be the coaching. And just go completely off script of what the choices that were actually given, because I've seen that happen before, man. But talk about being on script, guys, man. Tell you what another fantastic episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup. Got to give it up. If you guys didn't notice, just drop the sponsor link in the comments. That's Morgan Trinkets. Remember, for all your Southwest jewelry, pottery, and estate gold, make sure you check those guys out. Rocky Mountain Sports Network. Well, that's who we're brought to you by. You can check out Rocky Mountain Sports Network on the World Wide Web at RockyMountainSN.com. You can also check them out on Facebook, on YouTube. I promise we're going to try to get that YouTube and Apple going. Believe me, time is killing me, guys, but I appreciate you guys so very much on hanging out and making sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the Facebook and the YouTube channels that we continuously roll out on as well. That being said, I want to get some final thoughts, some final comments. Got to start off with the stepfather, since I skipped over him a couple times as being our guest. We'll start off with you, stepfather. What do you got before we get out of here, sir?
Oh, no, great show as always, fellas. Always a pleasure talking Denver Broncos with you guys, and also when you guys come on the Giants show or any of our shows at K&K. We love you guys. It's great, and I was glad to be part of this today after a nice, fun Memorial Day weekend. And hope everyone did have a nice Memorial Day weekend. And thank you to all those people that sacrificed Memorial Day for us. So thank you.
Absolutely, man. Well said. Well said. Appreciate you coming on, Kenny. Kenny's fantastic, man. I tell you what, if it's any possibility, man, he's always here for us. He's always got great questions. He's always got great content and great answers. And thank you so much, Kenny, for being a cousin, being a part of the family, and being part of the show tonight as well, buddy. Thank you so much.
Oh, and real quick, if anybody wants to catch out Kurt tomorrow, he's back at 10 p.m. Mountain Time. 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow night. And then K&K will be before that if anybody's interested.
Of course they're interested, Kenny. What are you talking about? If anybody's interested, the K&K Sports Show. Make sure you guys check those guys out tomorrow. And of course, man, for all our Broncos fans, let's talk Broncos. Kurt Valente, the other half of the K&K Sports Show, and Jennifer Hoops. Got to get Hoops in there, man. Man, we love it when Hoops is on. So, man, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a fantastic. Just go over there to the K&K Sports Show and just like and share, and make sure you go onto the YouTube and you're subscribing and that notification bell. You know when all the shows come on. You don't have to worry, man. They're all great. You'll love them. So appreciate it, Kenny. Mr. Albert Mile High Dutchy, the one and only. What do you got for us before we get out of here tonight, sir?
Yeah, as usual, it was a great show again. We had a really, really good participation in the posse, and that's always so wonderful. And I want to thank Michael, Roy, Ernie, Pearl, Kurt, Clayton, Mark, Patrick, Nigel, Michelle, my lovely wife, Phil, Marcus Odon Loud, Victor, Edwin Vargas, Jay, Everything Broncos podcast, Jody, James, and the Kenny K&K Sports Show. And I hope that Kurt is going to rock his new jersey tomorrow. We will love to see him in that one. Congratulations with that one.
He gets to rock another Bo Nix number 10 because he's adding to the collection from what we understand. He's a big Auburn fan as well. I think he has 2 now, right? So that being said, man, never number 2, never number 3. He's always number 1 in my book. Mr. Trevor Salzman, as all these guys are, man. But Mr. Trevor Salzman, what do you got for a wrap up tonight?
No, I want to appreciate everybody that joined us tonight. Kenny, thank you for joining us. You're always welcome. You guys are at the KK Sports Show. You guys are fantastic, and congratulations to Kurt Valente as well on his promotion. Kurt, that's awesome. Hopefully, you'll keep that Bo Nix jersey for a while we don't need to be trading any more quarterbacks away. Don't be trading that Bo Nix jersey in for a Zach Wilson jersey. And we know he won't be trading that in for a Jarrett Stidham jersey. So we can keep that. We know that's not going to happen. So no, just want to thank everybody in the posse, the Roundup royalty. You guys are completely awesome, and this is why we do it. We love you guys, and appreciate you guys. We'll see you back on Friday. And go check out the K&K Sports Show tomorrow, because a lot of great content over there. And just want to thank all my co-hosts as well. You guys are fantastic. And once again, shout out to Scoops for joining on Friday, and for covering for me. So want to appreciate you guys, and have a great week, and happy Memorial Day to everybody as well.
Yeah, a little belated Memorial Day. We appreciate everybody. Hope you had a fantastic weekend, man. I got to give up love to everybody I see on the screen, man, because I tell you what, these guys bring it. They bring the knowledge. They do the research. They get ready for each one of these shows. Man, I appreciate you guys so much, and the years now that we're starting to hang out all together. Imagine that. So that being said, man, it doesn't matter if we're talking about Fayetteville, North Carolina. It doesn't matter if we're talking about Down Under. It doesn't matter if we're talking about Hawaii. Man, we have people from all over the nation and all around the world this evening, and that's just the way we roll with the posse, man. Appreciate you guys coming in here with all your comments, all your questions. You guys are amazing. We keep growing and building. It's because all your likes, sharing, and subscribing. So make sure you're doing that. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. And we love you guys so, so very much. Again, reminder, Denver Bronco Roundup every Tuesday, every Friday, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Sports Network, and, of course, sponsored by Morgan Trinkets. But that being said, man, thanks again to, all of you guys. Appreciate you guys so much. Kenny, Mile High Dutchie, Mr. Trevor Salzman. You guys were fantastic this evening. We're going to get out here regular way. Remember, keep your feet in the stirrups, keep your guns in the holsters, and, of course, keep the Broncos in your hearts. Until next time, we're out of here. Good night, everyone.